Our expedition today takes us to the Jim Corbett, the renowned Tiger Reserve of India. This Uttarakhand safari promises a blend of dense forest, diverse wildlife, and an inspiring presence of not just one but two majestic tigers. Our journey began in Ramnagar, a bustling hub in Uttarakhand, where a safari awaited our arrival. Venturing into the Dhikala zone of Corbett, we prepared for our adventure by stocking up on essential provisions, opting for fruits, vegetables, and spices. With the forest entry gate approximately 20 kilometers from Ramnagar, we embarked on our journey, passing through various checkpoints where officials checked our bags for prohibited items like liquor and cigarettes. Once past the entry gate, we encountered a cluster of 9 forest cottages, each with its own unique name and direction. Opting for the Sultan cottage located 6 kilometers away, we settled in and commenced a safari. Our journey unfolded with the sightings of a barking deer gracefully bounding towards a nearby river as we traversed through the wilderness. Now let's discuss about the Corbett Tiger Reserve, situated in the Nainital district of Uttarakhand. This reserve holds the distinction of being India's first Tiger Reserve National Park, established by the British in 1939. It was initially known as the Highley National Park. However, post-independence, the park was renamed in honor of Jim Corbett, a renowned naturalist whose story we will explore later. Having arrived at our Sultan cottage, our temporary abode, we were greeted with spacious accommodations befitting its colonial origins. With a grand hall, 2 bedrooms, and a well-equipped kitchen, the cottage offered comfort and luxury amidst the wilderness. After settling our belongings, we set out to resume our safari, which stretches along a 30-kilometer route to Dhikala. Visitors to this region typically anticipate sightings of tigers, while leopard and other big cats are less common. Elephant sightings, however, are relatively frequent. The presence of small rivers, such as the Ramaganga River, attracts animals to quench their thirst, enhancing the chances of wildlife encounters. Amidst the verdant landscape, we were fortunate to spot a jungle owlet, a creature often found in the rural areas known for its distinctive habit of turning its head in response to sounds. These owlets primarily feed on small insects. Let's discuss Jim Corbett. As mentioned earlier, he was a well-known hunter during his time. In the last episode, we discussed Nainital town where Jim Corbett was born in 1875. Consequently, he was brought up as a British Indian citizen. He was drawn to the forest and greenery of that place. As he grew, he spent most of his time in the forest hunting wild cats and animals, earning his fame as one of the most skilled hunters of his time. See, this is a black drongo. This bird is an expert in imitating sounds and noises of other birds. Additionally, it's capable of fighting other birds larger than itself. Therefore, when Jim Corbett was known as a famous hunter in the British India region, there were chances of hunters becoming prey to wild animals during their hunting expeditions. Hunters needed to be capable of understanding the smell and nature of the forest while hunting. Jim Corbett was one such brave hunter who was an excellent sharpshooter as well. Later he started various wildlife sanctuaries. Here we have spotted a sambar deer. This gentle creature, adorned with majestic antlers, exudes a serene presence. In 1905, there was a tiger infamous for killing the maximum number of people, claiming nearly 436 lives. However, any hunter who attempted to kill the tiger were brutally slain by the tiger itself. The British government then tasked Jim Corbett with eliminating the tiger. When Corbett was 31 years old, he successfully shot and killed the tiger in the forest. Despite the appearance of dryness, sunlight and heat, the area was surprisingly cold. Morning here necessitated sweaters and jackets for warmth. Forest officials have constructed ponds nearby to provide water for thirsty animals. Consequently, evenings present ample opportunities for animal sightings. Dhikala stands out as the only place in India with cottages built so closely to the forest premises, a legacy of British construction during their reign. The Ramnagara River, as mentioned earlier, serves as the prominent landmark. Tigers are often spotted on these riverbanks during the summer months. Opting for a safari in the Dhikala zone of the Corbett Reserve allows for an immersive experience amidst the lush greenery and the scenic views along the Ramnagara riverside. These areas are typical territories for tigers and tigresses. See, we have spotted another barking deer here. Barking deer are quite common in this area. Hence, these deer and other animals are the usual prey for tigers. But our main focus is spotting the tigers, as Jim Corbett is known for them. So finally, we have spotted a majestic tiger. Just look at how ferocious it looks. I could not take any close-up photo shots of the tiger as it was inside the forest. Look, it's crossing the road. We only got to see the tiger for a few seconds, but we have got good visuals of it. This tiger is approximately 5 to 6 years old. As we moved forward, the driver stopped near a banyan tree and we saw the great hornbill on its branches. There is also a Malabar-pied hornbill, both of them feeding on the berries. The chirping noises you hear are from the hornbills. These hornbills were quite common in the past, but they are rarely sighted now. Look, we have another uncommon bird, the caliph. The grey one is female and the black one is male. These birds are common in the northern parts of India. Here there is also a red jungle fowl along with them. Both male and female callies have a red outlining around their eyes. And the male has a white crest and the female has a brown crest. This bird is the state bird of Jammu Kashmir as well. It's 5 p.m. and we have decided to head back as we have to reach the cottage by 6 p.m. The safari is allowed for 4 hours from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. On the way to the cottage, we spotted a wild pig and a barking deer. Even though we spotted barking deer, we couldn't find them in groups, like we find the spotted deers. All of them were strolling individually. The Jim Corbett Reserve comprises a total of 9 zones, but there is no option to book only a jeep safari in the Dhikala zone. The government provides both safari and accommodation together. There is an option for 16-seat safari bus which costs 2,500 rupees per head. So we have returned to our cottage. The area is surrounded and secured by electric fences. Since the cottage is within the forest premises, there are possible chances of animal presence. We can frequently hear the alarm calls from the deer during the mornings and evenings. After taking a quick shower, we proceeded to have our dinner. There is a cook in the cottage to prepare food for us. They have made us roti and egg curry. The next day at 5:45 a.m., we are starting our safari again. Both evening and morning safaris last for 4 hours each. If we are taking one-night package, we will go for the safari early in the morning and return by 10:30 a.m. for the breakfast. If it's a 2-night package, we will reach Dhikala by 11 a.m. and we can rest for some time before resuming our safari at 2 p.m. There is a Dhikala rest house 30 kilometers from the Dhikala entry checkpoint, where we can rest, use washroom facilities and find restaurants. We arrived during January, so the grasslands are dry, increasing the chances of spotting tigers. Additionally, capturing visuals of the tiger during the morning light would be an amazing experience. Now let's discuss further into Jim Corbett's story. In 1905, Jim Corbett encountered and shot down a tiger that had killed 436 humans, earning his fame as a brave hunter. Then, in 1910, the people of the region were once again frightened by another tiger that had killed almost 400 humans. Jim Corbett killed that tiger on 14th April 1910 as per the government orders. After this hunt, Jim Corbett quit hunting and began building wildlife sanctuaries, along with educating people about wildlife conservation. Seems like there are no other trees in the area, so all the sparrows have built their nests on this one tree. Just look at the tree filled with nests. We have moved a little further and spotted a herd of elephants. They were quite far and also within the grasses, so the visuals are not too clear. In the second episode of Uttarakhand series, we discussed Tunganath and Kedarnath, where believers who come here were often killed by another ferocious leopard, known as the man-eating leopard of Rudraprayag. It had killed 126 humans. Jim Corbett had stopped hunting, but due to the continuous pleas and requests from the government, he had to kill that leopard when he was 51 years old. This is the statue of Jim Corbett placed at the entry checkpoint of Dhikala. Since Jim Corbett knew the nature of the forest and the forest animals residing in it, he established this place in 1934, terming it as India's first national park. It was called Haley National Park initially, in which we are traveling right now. Later, he conducted lectures and educated government officials about wildlife conservation, and also taught soldiers to escape from wild animal threats when attacked. Jim Corbett had served the government in many such ways. In 1947, when India gained independence, all the Britishers were forced to leave. Jim Corbett also had to leave India when he was 72 years old. Later, this Hailey National Park was renamed after Jim Corbett in his honor. This hunter's life story would take an entire episode to brief it. Jim Corbett had written few books which are world famous. I have provided the links for some of his famous books. So, we are now traveling through the routes that young Jim Corbett had once traveled. The morning sun rays are so beautiful in forests. Not only this forest, but every forest. This is the territory of a male tiger from the Dhikala zone. We can notice a few safari jeeps waiting for the tiger over there. In this region, there are almost 30 safari jeeps, out of which 3 jeeps will always remain in this area, searching for tigers. Finally, here comes the tiger we were waiting for. It walked from the grassland to the road so majestically. It didn't care about the safari jeeps and the people around it. This tiger is called the Romeo male. It is 4 years old. Since the last November, the safari through this route has been cancelled because the tiger had once attacked one of the officials on this route. This grassland is the territory of this tiger, and it is always spotted in this region. Now we have reached the Dhikala camp. This electric fenced gate always remains closed because of the tigers, which are quite dangerous. These are the safari jeeps of Jim Corbett, and these are the restaurants and the rest areas which we had earlier mentioned. Let us head to the restaurant and have some food. The breakfast and lunch were buffet style. We had puri and omelette. The restaurant is quite spacious, and there are also photographs hanging on the walls. The breakfast is charged 430 rupees per head. It's quite costly. This is the map of the entire Jim Corbett forest. And there is also a map for the Dhikala zone provided with the animal details. Right in front of the restaurant, there is the Ramganga Dam and the riverside. The reservoir is a little far. If we observe closely, we can notice an elephant a little far over there. This forest remains closed during the rainy seasons. It opens again in November after the rain and will close again in June. It is always better to visit the forest in November because it looks beautiful and greenish during that time. The booking is usually done online, but it is not available at most times. We booked a package through the Tripuntold.com. This dam not only has the fishes but also crocodiles, with only their noses on the surface of water. So it is 2 p.m. and the rest is over. and everyone has packed their bags and got ready to continue the safari. Since we are not permitted inside the grasslands, we are supposed to wait here for the tiger to come. Since we have already seen Romeo, let us go along the side of the Ramganga river. This region, which comes after the grasslands, is one favorite spot. Towards the left side is the river, and the tourists always spot animals on the other side. We spotted an eagle on that tree as we were moving. After some time, another eagle came. Since they are far, they may look quite small, but they are actually huge in size. These are usually migrating birds which have migrated from Bangladesh and Bhutan. When the temperature falls, they also travel to Arab countries. They are listed on the endangered list of animals. This is the 16-seat Canter Safari vehicle which I had earlier mentioned about. It costs 2,500 rupees per head. So our Jim Corbett safari has come to an end. I had booked a 2-night package and I have shared the entire package in a single episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We will meet again with another interesting content.